What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel. Boozer here, thanks for stopping by. In today's video I want to go over my most latest achievement, and that is finishing and completing Sintranos City on hard difficulty. This is the first time I've managed to complete it. I think my account could have completed it many months ago. It's just having the devotion and commitment to basically go through every stage was not something I was ready to do for Sintranos, but you know, since we had the gear removal event this weekend, I had a little bit of extra time, and you know, I just said, hey, I'm just gonna try to do it this one time, and you know what, it worked out. I don't know if this rotation was easier, but in any case, I'm gonna go over what I did, what I am using, what kind of stats I have, and all that stuff, and hopefully I'll go over some of the harder stages as well, and hopefully you know, I can provide you guys with some insight into finishing it off yourselves. So yeah, let's jump right into it. Here we go. So we are in the hard Sintranos City. We do have, I believe, some time left. We have 2 weeks left, so I finished it pretty quickly, I guess. In terms of, oh, there we go. We got the solid proof there, 101. And yeah, we can definitely go over some of the harder stages here. This is hard Sintranos, so you know, obviously, once you make it past like this first little island here and start getting into this body part. When I first started Sintranos, I was having difficulty even reaching stars. So I was like saving up rares and all that stuff, trying to just get enough stars to jump in here. But you can kind of see here the teams that I'm using. Obviously, I have some pretty decent champions. Too bad it doesn't show you the total runtime. Oh, actually, it does show you the runtime here. So yeah, my team is very slow, but I'm not in it for racing or anything like that. Iron Twins. Pretty standard. These are just like auto teams. They're strong enough to go in auto. After that, let's check out some of these teams here. So this one, S8 with a double Ugo. This one really lacks DPS. So using the Venomage here. Venomage, very nice epic, of course. Let's see what else. The Sand Devil one would be tough. Sand Devil here, Mordecai, MVP. There's not really too much you can really use to kill this guy. I mean, I saw strategies where you use Python with Toxic Set, just incredible stats, and then just Toxic Set. But Mordecai with Python, very safe, not fast or anything, but very safe, and definitely can kill off the Sand Devil very easily. So yeah, I guess I will just show you guys like some of the harder stages here and how to complete them. So this one, S12. This one was kind of difficult at the very end. The Jin Wan here, I think after his buff or something, he removes, yeah, this champion is immune to all this hard CC. And then at the end of each enemy's turn, remove all these hard CCs from all allies. It's actually really difficult to take care of this last wave because of Jin Wan's passive. So you can kind of see here the team that I used was like tons of CC, right? Tons of survivability, but no damage. And then when you try to CC this last team, they can't, right? Like, so I would open with the Molly and then try to, you know, provoke everybody, but because of Jin Wong's passive, just wouldn't allow me, right? So here, the only DPS I have is Ghostborn, and Ghostborn I was using, I used my Wukong's gear set, so lethal gear on my Ghostborn to try to take these guys out. Everybody else is basically like in regeneration or shield. Took me a couple tries to get this, but on the last wave, you just target down to Jin Wong. After that, it's pretty easy. And hopefully you have enough like survivability stats to keep everybody alive. So here, for this stage, I actually had to empower some of these champions, basically just to give them some more damage. Usually I haven't been doing too much epic empowerment. And my strategy is basically, I would only empower champions if I need to empower them. So in this case, I empowered my Fan Creeper and it empowered my Melga just to give them more stats, more damage, and it was helpful. It was helpful. So here it required the boost. I got the 6-star Melga. It's not necessary or anything. Like I have her with the continuous heal blessing. I don't think that's too relevant. She only has a single target A1 attack, so cruelty doesn't make sense on her or anything like that. But this stage was pretty difficult, and I think Molly makes it a lot easier. So if you don't have Molly, it's going to be a tough one for you. After that, you know, the Nether Spider dungeons are always a little tricky, right? So for this one, I used Tutor for the block debuffs. The big thing here is Lissandra's A1 actually sends back the debuffs, so you can transfer all debuffs from this champion to the target, which is really useful. So you can use Lissandra to send back the poisons to the Nether spider, for example, just to deal some extra damage and to have her stay alive. After that, shield here, and then I use my croc for some extra damage. But a lot of it is just trying to stay alive against all the incoming damage. So I had a big shield set or a bolster set on the Tatora, Volgoth with the Guardian set just to soak up some damage. Lissandra dies first because she's just in speed gear. But you guys can definitely gear it out a little bit better so that you can actually survive some damage. Regen would be okay, I guess. It's a lot of damage coming in from the Nether spider. So it's not the easiest stage. The other one, this one, I think Nether spider. Yeah, so if you have this champion, Ruark just dominates this level. Again, his A1 transfers debuffs, but it also heals his this champion too. So if you put him in a regen set, look, I even have a brimstone on him. He just dominates this entire stage, like dragon and Nether spider. He sends it all back, sends all the poisons back, and he heals himself. And if you give him a healing set, he's just gonna solo both of these bosses. So great champion for that boss if you have them. So let's see, moving on. So S16 here, basically using like a couple free champions here. Mithrala, Lydia, Quintus. And then, you know, the Void champions aren't that bad. Like you could definitely use like I have Visix here. You could use Nia. You know, this stage was not bad at all. Obviously Taras is very, very strong, but hopefully you guys have at least like one damage dealer in this team. Like, you know, you could even gear Visix in damage, but yeah, with Lydia and Mithrala, if they're geared right, they can definitely handle this stage relatively easily. This one, Void Magic HP support. So from my roster, there's a couple high blessings here that were like a part of events, like Artax's here and Korra's here. So they could be like 5-star champions for you. You know, Seer could be a high blessing for you as well. You could use Seer. Yeah. So for this one, like Mithrala is really good, just the CC stuff. But obviously, if you have Armans, it makes it a lot easier. You don't need to run, you know, Warlord with Armans here, of course. But this one, this Awaken stage seems pretty standard, pretty straightforward. So this one was relatively tough. S14. I think I did this relatively quickly, but I went basically like damage, and then one stun set on the Basilisk. I think this is going to be a relatively standard team for S14. You could do something like maybe if you have Vassal brings you some extra healing, some protection. You could go Sisia for the AoE decreased defense, which is a little bit more reliable than the Fushan. But I recently re-geared my Candrafon, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna try it out. And this Candrafon was like slapping like crazy. You know, he's in like my tier B or tier C merciless gear. So yeah, so I just wanted to get him in there, get him slapping, show you guys the quick stats here on these guys. Nothing crazy, but like, you know, obviously decent enough. And yeah, so this stage, you know, you need some stun RNG here just to handle some of the waves. And obviously against this last wave here, you want to kill the Brogni first, because once the Brogni gets the shield out, it's going to be really tough to kill them, especially because your team doesn't last very long. All right, so after that, S20. I've seen some people struggle on this one. I think this team is like pretty okay-ish. If you have Mishinaki, this level becomes much easier. I've seen some people run like 2 or 3 Mishinakis. Goffred also makes it relatively easy. I think the big thing is you have to have at least one thing to protect your team. So ally protection or this, you know, kind of, you know, passive ability to protect your team. Artak, you could use like a stun set on Artak because he brings AoEs. That might help. I just had him in normal regen gear. Duck was in a shield set. Torage was just in regen gear. Goffred was just in like stone skin gear, and then Mishinaki's built for damage. Yeah, you can see here. Yeah, so this is my Mishinaki. He's actually, you know, pretty good. I rebuilt him a little bit. Should be slapping here. It's just in stone skin gear, regen gear. And then duck. Oh, he's in protection gear, so not even a shield set. All right. So that one, I know some people have some problems with. This one wasn't too bad for me. The big thing is getting the HP burn on the spider and making sure you kill the spider first. So for me, I have like a Geomancer here. I geared him up with like 600 accuracy, I think. This one, yeah, 600 accuracy. And then just put the HP burn on him. After that, if you have Mikage, it gets a lot easier against the Fire Knight. Drexar is pretty good. He has a triple hit A1. Triple hit A1 he also helps with like a passive burn here. Could help. And yeah, Wither is just for some extra healing. You don't need Wither, of course. I could have used like Candrafon here instead. But I chose Wither just for some extra healing. And just for the cleanse as well. But yeah, this stage is doable, but Mikage is a pretty big one. Obviously, Harima with the triple hit is really good here as well. So moving on to the 21. 21 seems pretty straightforward. Just, you know, nuke, and then increase attack. Bunch of more damage. You just nuke your way through all the waves with this one. 18. This one was also relatively easy. The Daithe is very good. He's very good. I actually have 2 of them built. One of them with a 6-star blessing. Yeah, I have 2 of them built. Rathalos here. Basically just 5 nukes. I just put 5 nukes together and then was able to clear this stage relatively easily, I think on the first try. So you kind of see like a kind of trend here, which champions show up quite a bit in this rotation. Like you see Husk quite a bit. This one was against the Tarrasses, S19. S19 is against the Tarrasses. So what I did was I think I ran shield set steel skull or regen steel skull. Maybe I used the bolster set. Let's see. Yeah, I think I used the bolster set for this guy. So guardian set on Snick Tracks, but not even guardian set, just random gear. 9-piece protection, just my usual Podrig, provoke Nekmo, and just damage Krokmar. And then I think I ran a bolster set on Steel Skull just for some extra protection against the Taras and Marichka in the first wave. But basically, yeah, you control the waves with the provokes here. And then you try to nuke down that Marichka first, which is kind of crazy, right? So you nuke down the Marichka, and then you try to cleanse. You use the cleanse from the Steel Skull to cleanse off the Podrig. So Podrig can cleanse your whole team after everybody gets stunned by those Tarasses. But you try to nuke down the Marichka, you try to provoke all the key players on that first wave. So I'll show you guys how bad it can be. But you can kind of see here. So you have the cleanser here with Sethalia, you have the cleanser with Marichka. But what you want to do is basically you want to try to CC everybody. You're taking damage here, right? So I would have had like a shield set. So Nekma wouldn't have taken so much damage. Ally protection helps here from Snick Tracks, and then I would basically use Krokmar and try to nuke down this Marichka as soon as I can. And then unfortunately the speed tune on this doesn't seem perfectly good. Sorry, when the run went auto, it used the cleanse ability first. So usually I would go ally attack into the Marichka. Oh, that's a problem too. So a little bit RNG is involved. So the Steel Skull poison triggers the Marichka block damage. So obviously you have to try this stage a couple of times. Try not to get the poison to trigger the block damage. There you go. You see what happened there? So that's the problem with the Steel Skull. But the Steel Skull cleanse is very, very valuable here because the Taras brings the stuns, which is very nasty. But that's, I don't know, just a bit of a tip there for S19. This one, stage 24 with the Awaken stage. I did not find this very difficult because obviously you have Armans here. And then Mishnaki is just bringing the damage. Everybody else just kind of here. This is not a difficult stage by any stretch. This one, Dark Fate also was not very difficult, but I'm blessed with triple, newts here. I had a team with double newts, and I was running, I believe, Martyr for the counterattacks. With Martyr and the counterattacks, it's a little bit more difficult because you have to kind of time the counterattacks on your team right before the attack. and then try to bring her turn meter down. Yeah, so it's a little bit tough. In terms of like overall builds, you're probably looking at 250 speed minimum, 300 accuracy minimum. So that's kind of how you want to build these champions. But yeah, I think after that, but that stage honestly wasn't too tough for me. One of the hardest stages for this one was tough. This one was probably the toughest one, this rotation for me. So this one, I'm still using the husks. So you kind of see like the husks are very, very important for this rotation. And then I recently +4'd this one. I just recently +4'd this one because I needed more stats. I had to +4 the Mausoleum Mage, had to +2 the Atchak. But basically I was using like shield set on Atchak and then using shield set on Mausoleum Mage just to keep everybody alive. And then I think either shield set or regen set on the Horphrase. But what you need to do is basically on this stage, you have to control this guy, this Smash Lord. So either with the provokes or the stun. Horphrase is actually pretty good here because he brings a stun. So you can use provoke, stuns, and then you have to like somehow control at least some like one of the Ragashes or the Fox, because they can CC your team. And even though you have block debuffs here, your block debuffs is only for one freaking turn. So it's freaking not very good, right? So there we go. We got just an example, right? I'm not going to go through this stage, but this run, I remember it took me quite a long time just to get the stun RNG properly. And then at the very end, the last level, the last stage of this one, you have to deal with these two Bad Alcazars, as well as this Euros here, which brings, I believe, some kind of passive CC whenever they're attacked, has a chance to place provoke. So he also brings some passive CC, which is really tough because, you know, you really rely on your block debuffs or the cleanse, right? But your block debuffs from Atchak is only, it's only one turn block debuff, and then Mausoleum Mage is only one turn block debuff. So I recommend building Mausoleum Mage super fast. You know, good gear, super fast. Make sure he has the cleanse. The Hippo here isn't really bringing too much. Like he brings increased attack, but none of you guys are really benefiting that much from increased attack. He brings the revive and then A1 stun, just for some extra CC. But on the last wave, you gotta control the two Bad Ls and then try to control the Euros. Kill the Bad Alcazars first, and then try to deal with the Mashald, because Mashald can CC you as well. So yeah, it's definitely, this one was one of the toughest stages for me. But honestly, yeah, I'm super happy that I actually finished this. I'll show you guys what I'm working with here. And in terms of the epics, I think the epics are very important, but you guys can kind of see like a trend of what I was using. So you guys can see. So obviously the Husk was super important. Used him for, you know, probably like 3 or 4 of those key harder Sintranos soul cross levels. So Husk, very important for this one. I used the Mausoleum Mage once. Atchak I used once. Basilisk I used in a couple levels as well, so he's actually pretty important. He's pretty good, right? He brings the A1 and AoE, which is pretty good, and then he has an extra survivability on his passive. He can hit hard if you gear him out to do so, but he's, you know, you're just basically putting him in a stun set and letting him go to town. He also has an A2 stun as well, so you can, like, you know, target somebody like a priority target and then stun them as well. Let's see, after Venom Mage, and I mean, she's good. Daithe, very good. I like him. You can see actually I geared him out in like some savage gear, like leftover savage gear that I had. So I do like have him in decent gear. So I used him quite a bit. But you can kind of see like I don't really have too many like maxed out epics, mainly because I don't really max them out unless I'm planning on using them. So for example, the Melga here was actually really important for that stage. And same thing with the Fang Cleric. And I chose not to max them out like in terms of empowerment until I really needed to. So that's usually my criteria for empowering some of these epics. I don't really empower them until I absolutely have to. So in this case, I needed to because I wanted to finish that level. And based on what I have already empowered, you can kind of see what are kind of more priority champions that I have used in previous rotations. Not necessarily this one, but maybe in previous rotations. So Husk, very good for this rotation. Basilisk, very good. Mausoleum Mage was, you know, pretty good for this one as well. You could definitely empower Daithe. I made 2 60s, and that stage was relatively easy once you put your best gear on them. Melga was very good for this stage as well. Of course, this is only just one rotation, right? And Sintranos has been out for, you know, 10 months now. But yeah, a lot of these epics I basically only use for Sintranos, or I built them for Sintranos, for example. But yeah, so for this one, you can kind of see like how, you know, how empowered they are. They're not really that empowered. Let's check out the Sintranos arena bonuses that I have. I actually don't have that much. I only recently started working on them. But after Hydra, ignore defense, speed, and crit damage, I basically just started putting speed and ignore damage. Started working a little bit on crit damage and a little bit on accuracy. So they're not really like super maxed out. And I know definitely people have way more investment into live arena bonuses already than me, because I just haven't been doing too much live arena, to be honest. 2,500 battles, right? I have a decent win rate, but only 2,500 battles. So definitely not a crazy regular player for live arena anymore. And here, I'll show you guys a list of epics that one of the players made. I forgot which player, but one of the players made them. And this is a list of epics that he used for his fast track to Karnage. So I think he got Karnage as fast as possible. I think 5 months. And this is the list of epics that he used. So if you are thinking about leveling champions for like champion training, or just to help yourself in Sintranos, you can use this short list just to give you a bit of guidance. These pictures are kind of ranked from most used to least used that he made, right? So you can kind of take a quick snapshot here. So you got Godseeker Neri, you got Daithe here, you got 2 Daithes, you got 2 Moregs, you got Steel Skull here. There's Argala, he got 3 Husks. So you guys can see how important Husk is for Sintranos. He's got 3 Husks here. He's got 2 Allures, 2 Man-Eaters, 2 Ugos, 2 Geomancers. And yeah, you can see a bunch of Achak is here as well. Ruella, Miscreate Monster, Tarage, Venomage. So these are like top priority epics that you're going to use quite frequently in Sintranos. The middle picture is less priority, but you're still probably going to use it. Melga's here, Deacon's here. Fat Man, he's got 2 Fat Man. He's got 2 Neldors, he's got 2 Creodans. Creodan's actually really good in some stages, especially against the hard Fire Knight when he's available. I have 2 Creodans made as well, 260 Creodans. And yeah, super you know, strong champion for that type of stage. And then the last picture are just lesser used epics, but he has used before. Shamael, Basilisk. He's got Seeker here, Ursula. Who else does he have here? Anybody else super important? Vogos here. Yeah, kind of surprised that Basilisk is down here, but maybe he has better options for his Lizardman. But yeah, feel free to take a quick snapshot just to give you guys a rough guidance on what he was using. And basically just gives you a sense of where your investment, or how well your investment will go for the City of Sintranos. The other thing that was really hard in the beginning for City of Sintranos was the necessary blessings. So this is just something you have to build up over time. Blessings have been in the game for about 2 years now. So hopefully in that time you were able to get at least a couple blessings. I mean, epics are just a little bit easier to get blessings for, obviously. Luckily for me, like I have some good blessings on some key champions here. For example, like Achak, Basilisk, Daithe here. You know, obviously try to build up some of your epics for cheap, like Husk and stuff. Husk are great just for some extra blessings here. You can have multiples of them as well. But blessings really hold you back from a lot of the stages. It was really tough in the beginning, like the first couple months when you're trying to do Sintranos and then you get stuck on an Awakened stage, for example, and then you just don't have any blessings, right? But in the 2 years since blessing has come out, obviously they've given us ways to get blessings. So, I went out of my way to go get these blessings for some good champions, right? And and now finally able to put them to use, being able to finish off these awakened stages and progress in Sintranos. You know, I'm 5 months late to get Karnage. It's not the end of the world, to be honest. I'm gonna wait until, you know, probably a champion chase to pull him, since mythicals are worth quite a bit in champion chase, or maybe CVC, for example. And then, you know, obviously we'll start working towards his blessing and all that stuff with the chest afterwards. But, you know, I'm pretty happy, right? This is one of the hardest things to do, at least for me, in terms of like time. I know my account can probably do it. I have the gear for it. It's just whether I have the will and commitment to do it. And I'm happy that I did it this time. I don't know if I'm going to continue doing it, but obviously the arena bonuses are helpful. Empowerments are helpful. Free gear removal is helpful. But yeah, hopefully this video gave you guys a little bit of insight, gave you a little bit of information on what worked for me. Hopefully I went over some key points on some of these harder stages and how I beat them. Maybe I showed my teams on how to beat them. But yeah, everybody's going to have that one hard stage where they're really lacking some stuff. This one was tough. This spirit one was, this one was tough too. The spirit one was tough. This one was tough. Especially the Jin Wan stage. And yeah, this Taras one was tough. Actually, this one, Taras one. This one was tough as well. But honestly, yeah, just take your time, do whatever you can. You know, no need to stress about it. But it is a bit of an accomplishment to me, so I do feel pretty pumped about this. But yeah. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully, like I said, it was informative and I showed you guys maybe some things that you guys didn't think about. And hopefully will help you out in your pursuit for Karnage and to complete the Sintranos City on hard difficulty. But yeah, anyways, guys, thanks for watching till the end. Appreciate your time, and I'll see you guys in the next video.